Okay, so just as a warning before we start, there is a single adult team running through this whole talk. If you wanted a more sophisticated talk, perhaps with some sort of double teaming, that's I can't give you that talk. Not by myself here. I work in UCD. I work on contracts for the European Space Agency. We do repositioning of satellites and telescopes in space. It's a little bit like this, but we use a longer broom because that broom's too short, isn't it? And I've been doing that research for about 8 years, and I'm happy to say I'm drawing upon none of that research to give you this talk on sex in space. I'm going to split into two parts, why, and then the second part is the mechanics, so you can take your notepads out for that. That's JFK. He's a famous TLA and former president of the United States of America, and he gave a very famous speech about going to the moon and having sex there. And there's one particularly famous quote, you might have seen it. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, wink, not because they are easy, but because they are hard, right? So he knew I was up. So, right. Okay. So why do we go? We do because we're humans and we want to go on adventures, and when we go on adventures, we have sex when we get there. I'm drawing it back. So a couple of different reasons where we go. What's the next slide? I've completely forgotten. Oh yeah, because it's about life. Because actually, in our whole meaning of life is one of the things is homeostasis and being able to regulate our body temperature. The other thing is reproduction. We define that we need to be able to reproduce to be alive. So if we are to be alive in space, we have to be able to reproduce there. So that's the thing. So conspiracy theory, right? Was there a man on the moon? Well, he was there, but he was dead because he couldn't reproduce when he was there, and then later he came back and he was alive again. So we're talking about, it's kind of hard. We find it hard to have sex when we're in space. Another reason is because the distances are so far apart. That's Andromeda. There's lovely beaches there, and if you'd like to go on holidays there, it'll take you 2.5 million years. So if you want to go on holidays, you decide that your great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren go there. So you'd have to reproduce many, many times just to go visit one of the closest galaxies. One thing is boredom. I was on a flight to Australia once, and I would have happily killed everybody in economy just to see a movie that Jennifer Aniston wasn't in. If you want to go travel these distances, just out of boredom, you'll give it a go. Mechanics. Okay, so how does this look? When one astronaut loves another astronaut, they may choose to have sex with each other. So what does that look like? It looks a bit like, obviously, sex on Earth, but obviously more floaty. So people have tried it, and it's kind of hard. Well, they've tried it a bit. In parabolic flights, when you mimic low gravity, people have tried and said it's really, really hard. It's more, even just get a kiss and a cuddle, it's kind of like a choreographed dance. And people come up with solutions like this is called the two-suit, and so because Newton's law, so every action has an opposite equal reaction. So the bump is not always followed by a grind. So you need to lock yourself to something, and then you need to kind of Velcro yourself around somebody else. It's also a lot more sweaty, so there's no gravity, so there's not natural convection currents. So what happens is you get really sweaty, and the balls of sweat stick to your skin in little balls like that. So it's kind of it's awkward, floaty, sweaty Velcro sex, but you probably had worse, sir. Yeah. So that leads to the question: has anyone had sex in space? And the official thing is no. Well, that NASA says no, and that Russia says no, and they said that no, we're professionals. You know, we don't have sex on our work job. It's not your local sandwich place here. So who are the best culprits? What are the two guys? This is Mark Lee and Jan Davis, and they trained in NASA and secretly got married when they were training, and then they went up on a mission. Now NASA doesn't allow married couples up on missions anymore. So when they came back, people said, "Did you have sex?" And they wouldn't tell anyone. They went all quiet about it. But people kind of think that they may have tried some unauthorized, repeated docking maneuvers when they were up there. But they don't tell, and they still don't tell today. The other guesses that we have is that the Russians on their side of the space station, people don't really know. People think they might be playing hide the telescope over there. But we don't really know, but there's rumors. So the problem really isn't that having sex there, it's that if people get pregnant, and that's the real problem about the whole thing. So humans are used to gravity when they're having pregnancies, so we think that in a low gravity environment the pregnancies mightn't go very well. There's also a lot of radiation and that might be very good for the baby. So there's the things we have to overcome if people are going to have sex in space, but eventually someone will, and that'd be the first kind of alien baby. Thank you.